setting up a private-public partnership authority, and we are also empowering them, and we are recruiting. We have recruited a CEO also from the private sector. So the idea is that these institutions, including the regulatory institutions that are very important for setting the ground rules, whether it is the PTA, whether it's NEPRA, whether it's OGRA, whether it is whatever, and the government institutions that are semi-independent, they have to be transformed. And I think the Prime Minister's vision is that they should be transformed, they should be headed by genuine professionals, and there should be no conflicts of interest. And we should not demand things from them for our personal benefit, but give them the authority to do things that are necessary to get the overall situation to be attractive for private sector participants. Now, I did mention some of the incentives, and what we are trying to do really is that both for exports, but also for those who want to do business here, we are setting export or economic zones so that you can come and benefit from the set of incentives that are available there. We have a whole city centered around a port that is also converted into an economic zone. We have a good set of tax-related benefits for those who want to come and do business here. Now, of course, we did talk about getting the quality of the regulation right. We are working on it. If you can generate some ideas here, we'll be grateful. We are trying to build institutions, as I said. We are trying to make business performance easier. And as you know, the World Bank has just come out and acknowledged Pakistan as one of the best performers in terms of ease of doing business. So that is a recognition from an independent source. We also have taken steps to increase the pace of our own projects. Previously, the amounts that needed to be approved had to go through many different steps. We have taken that mandate away from the ECNEC and told the ministries and the lower level to take decisions on their own up to 10 billion rupees. So there was a logjam of projects with Asian Development Bank, World Bank, and so on. All those have been resolved in the last few months so that many of these projects are now, on track. And I'm not interested in keeping more and more authority and power to myself or the finance ministry. We want to delegate. We want to let the sector ministries, the planning ministry, and others be able to take decisions so that the wheels of the government can move faster. And so I think these are some of the things that we are doing. At the same time, we obviously have to do many things on the financial inclusion side. I acknowledge that that's an area we need to do better. We need and are trying to do more in terms of debt management. We have a debt management office that is going to be doing a much better job in trying to look at the whole situation of debt, trying to bring the average maturity time less. In fact, there has already been an improvement on that. Because the infrastructure needs are phenomenal, and we have not done a very good job of investing in infrastructure. According to ADB, we need 8% plus of GDP to go into infrastructure over the next 10 years or so per annum. And the gap that we actually invest and what is needed is pretty huge. So we need to really zero in and think about what are the ways, what are the innovative ways, how are other countries more successful in this area, and what can we learn from them? How can we adapt those particular instruments into our own setup. Because you know the Pakistanis are a very resourceful people. They are very determined, and they are always curious and eager to find good solutions. So if you can come up with those kind of solutions, and that is the strength of the type of people who are here. They combine, institutional mandate with a lot of knowledge and awareness about what works and what doesn't work. On the PPP side, we have always talked about it, but haven't done much on it. So perhaps now is the time to really start doing much about it. And as I said, from our side, we are recruiting a top-notch person to head the PPP. We have in our public sector development program allocated 250 billion rupees worth of projects, and I think the challenge really is how to cut down the processing time of these PPPs, because they all sound great, but actually they're very hard to do in the real world. So what I want is for people to actually say, look, how can you really do it? And what are the, requirements? Because we can have endless seminars. I was in the World Bank, like maybe, I don't know. If I tell you how long back that was, you think I'm ancient. But, even in those days, in the 90s, people in the World Bank used to talk about PPPs, and they are still doing that. And I think, but what is the track record? All over the world. And so let's try and see what is the track record, what are the institutional arrangements that are needed, what are the incentives that actually work, and try and, challenge the government as well as the private sector. And that's where I'll be looking forward to getting some thoughts from this. So let me try and conclude by saying that this is obviously a very important topic, and I'm grateful for the organizers to have done it. They have also assembled the right kind of people and are dedicating a lot of time. But really, the trick is how are we going to decide whether this event and the resources spent on it were wisely spent? What is the way that we will measure the success of this two-day event? I think that it will be in the quality of the discussions and ultimately the practicality of the suggestions and what happens afterwards. If everyone splits and some people go to Manila and others go to London or wherever, and then, some to Lahore and Karachi, they are still better informed. But I think it would be a shame if we do not actually come out with some practical suggestions, an implementation plan, and a way to monitor our progress following from this event, because it's a very big event, and we have a lot of expectations from it. So again, thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be here, and I want to welcome all the foreign guests as well as our colleagues from the provinces, and once again, thank the organizers. Thank you very much.